I stand in my white lace dress, champagne fizzing in my hand, watching Daniel across the reception hall. He's laughing with his groomsmen, his eyes crinkling the way they do when he's genuinely happy. Everything is perfect. The ivory roses, the string quartet, the 200 guests celebrating us. This should be enough. This is enough. But something whispers in the back of my mind that perfect feels a little too safe. Maya. Cassie appears beside me, her eyes sparkling with that familiar mischief. This wedding is absolutely gorgeous, but don't you think it's a little boring? I laugh, nudging her shoulder. Boring? We just got married in front of everyone we love. Exactly. It's all so predictable. She leans closer, lowering her voice. When's the last time you did something spontaneous? Something wild? Cassie, I'm just saying, married life doesn't have to be boring from day one. Her words stick with me through the rest of the reception. Later, at the after-party in her loft, the champagne keeps flowing and inhibitions keep dropping. Cassie pulls me into her kitchen, away from the music and laughter. Okay, so I have this idea, she says, grinning. You should totally prank Daniel. What? No way! Come on! Remember April Fool's when he made you think he got transferred to Seattle? You cried for like 3 hours, I remember. The panic, the devastation, then the relief mixed with anger when he yelled, April Fools! That was terrible. Exactly. This is payback. Cassie's eyes gleam. My cousin Ryan's here. We take one photo, just one. That looks a little compromising. You send it to Daniel, he freaks out for 30 seconds, then you tell him it's fake. He'll laugh, you'll laugh, it'll be legendary. That's insane. It's hilarious. She calls across the room. Ryan, come here! A tall guy with an easy smile walks over. What's up? Ryan, this is Maya. She needs help with a harmless prank on her husband. Harmless? Ryan looks skeptical. Totally harmless, Cassie insists. Just one photo. Shirt off both of you on my guest bed. Make it look scandalous. 5 minutes, done. The champagne makes everything feel lighter, funnier. Everyone around us is laughing, having fun. What's one joke between newlyweds? Just one photo, I hear myself say. Ryan shrugs. If you're sure? 10 minutes later, we're staging the shot in Cassie's guest bedroom. Ryan's shirtless, I'm in a silk robe, we're both on the bed. It looks exactly like what it's supposed to look like. My heart pounds as I type the text. Best wedding night ever. I hit send. Then I wait for Daniel's response, already imagining his relieved laughter when I explain. 5 minutes pass. Then 10, then 30. He's probably asleep, Cassie says, but her voice wavers. I call Daniel. No answer. I call again. Nothing. The party's winding down, and suddenly my stomach feels like it's full of rocks. The joke isn't funny anymore. It was never funny. I need to go home, I tell Cassie. She nods, her earlier enthusiasm completely gone. Maya, I'm sure he's just... But I'm already grabbing my purse. When I arrive at our apartment at 2 a.m., every light is on. Daniel sits on the couch, my photo displayed on his tablet. His face is completely blank. No anger, no tears, nothing. Daniel, baby, it was a prank. I rush toward him, words tumbling out. It was Cassie's idea. We thought it would be funny, like payback for April Fools. Nothing happened. Ryan is her cousin. We just took a photo. I swear on everything. Stop. His voice is quiet, but cuts through my panic like a blade. I freeze. You took a photo like that, he says slowly. On our wedding night. And sent it to me. It was a joke. A stupid, terrible joke? I'm so sorry. You thought our wedding night was the right time to make me believe you cheated. He stands up, and I've never seen him look at me like this. Like I'm a stranger. What does that say about you, Maya? About us? I wasn't thinking... That's the problem. He grabs his jacket. I'm going to my parents' house. I need space. Daniel, please don't... But he's already walking toward the door. It closes with a soft click that somehow echoes louder than any slam. I stand frozen in our apartment, my wedding dress still hanging in the bedroom, and the reality crashes over me. I might have just destroyed my marriage for a laugh. Morning comes too soon. At 8 a.m., my phone rings. Daniel's mother, what have you done? Margaret's voice drips with contempt. Daniel is devastated. On his wedding night, Maya. His wedding night. Margaret, please, it was just... I always knew you were too impulsive for my son. Too reckless. This just proves it. The line goes dead. An hour later, my sister Sarah arrives. She takes one look at me, unwashed, still in yesterday's clothes, eyes swollen, and sighs. "Tell me everything," she says. I do. When I finish, I expect sympathy. Instead, she stares at me with pure disappointment. "Maya, what the hell were you thinking?" "Not you two." "Yes, me too." Sarah's voice rises. "You sent your husband a photo of you in bed with another man on your wedding night. As a prank? Do you hear how insane that sounds? I know it was stupid. Stupid doesn't cover it. You didn't think about his feelings at all. You just wanted attention, wanted to be the fun, spontaneous bride." Her words sting because they're true. Well, congratulations. You got attention. My phone buzzes. Cassie. "I'm so sorry, Maya. I didn't think he'd react like this." Another text from Ryan. "I feel terrible. If Daniel wants to talk to me, I'll explain everything." Their apologies feel meaningless. The damage is done. I call Daniel, no answer. I text long paragraphs explaining, apologizing, begging. Hours later, he responds with 5 words. "I need time to think." Days blur together. At work, colleagues ask about the honeymoon. "We postponed it," I lie. At night, I lie awake in our empty bed, replaying that moment when I thought the prank would be funny. A week later, Dad shows up at my door. Unlike everyone else, he doesn't yell. He just sits beside me on the couch. "Why did you do it, Maya?" That simple question breaks something inside me. "I don't know, Dad. The wedding was so perfect, so traditional. I wanted to do something unexpected, something we'd laugh about years from now." "I didn't think—" "You didn't think about Daniel's feelings," he finishes gently. "You thought about what would make you feel spontaneous and fun." He's right. I'd been so focused on being the exciting, unpredictable bride that I'd forgotten to consider my husband's heart. "I love him, Dad. How do I fix this?" "I don't know if you can," he admits. "But if there's any chance, you need to understand why you did this. Otherwise, you'll hurt him again in different ways." That night, I finally admit what I've been avoiding. I've always needed to be the center of attention, always craved excitement and validation. Even on my wedding day, I'd made it about me. I find a therapist, Lisa Rodriguez, who specializes in relationships. In our first session, she asks, "What were you really looking for when you sent that photo? Attention, maybe? Proof that I was still exciting even though I was married? And how did that work out?" "It destroyed everything," Lisa nods. "Maya, marriage isn't about constant excitement. It's about trust, consistency, respect. Those might seem boring, but they're what keep love alive." Her words make me cry, not because they're harsh, but because they're true. 2 weeks after the wedding, Daniel finally agrees to meet me at a coffee shop. When he walks in, he looks exhausted. We sit across from each other, miles of distance between us. "I've been thinking a lot," he begins. "About us, about the prank, about everything." "Daniel, I'm so sorry." He holds up his hand. Let me finish. The photo hurt. But what hurt more was realizing that on the most important night of our lives, you were thinking about pranks instead of us. Instead of me. Tears stream down my face. I know, I was selfish. "I've been seeing a therapist trying to understand why—" "I'm glad you're getting help," he says, but his tone stays distant. "But I don't know if I can trust you again. When I saw that photo, something broke inside me. I keep wondering what else you might do for attention." "Nothing." "I swear, have you really learned?" He looks at me with sad eyes. "Or are you just scared of losing me? There's a difference between being sorry you hurt me and being sorry it backfired." His words hit like a punch. "I'm sorry I hurt you. Daniel, please. Give me a chance to prove I've changed." He's quiet for a long moment. "I need more time. I'm not saying it's over, but I'm not saying we're okay either." "How much time?" "I don't know." He stands to leave. "Work on yourself, Maya. Figure out why you need attention so badly that you'd risk our marriage for a laugh. If we're going to have any chance, you need to change. Really change." Then he's gone again. Over the next month, I dedicate myself to therapy. Lisa helps me understand that my need for excitement stems from insecurity. A fear that if I'm not spontaneous and fun, I'm not worth loving. "You were trying to prove something," she explains. "But to whom? Daniel loved you already." I guess I was trying to prove it to myself. I start journaling, tracking my impulses. I apologize properly to Ryan, who says, "I should have said no. I could tell it was a bad idea." Cassie and I have a hard conversation. "You need to take responsibility for your choices," I tell her. But I also need to own that I made the decision. Our friendship feels different now, less reckless, more honest. Kevin, our mutual friend, tells me Daniel's been spending time with Amanda Torres, a colleague from his architecture firm. They're just friends, he assures me. Jealousy burns in my chest. Then I force myself to face the truth. I have no right to be jealous. I'm the one who betrayed his trust. Margaret keeps calling, her messages growing colder. Daniel deserves better than someone who would humiliate him. I don't argue. Part of me agrees. But Dad and Sarah rally around me. You made a terrible mistake, Sarah says, but you're working to fix it. That counts for something. After 6 weeks, Daniel agrees to couples therapy. Our first session is painful. I feel betrayed, Daniel says simply. I feel like I don't know who I married. It wasn't on purpose. But you didn't think about me at all, he counters. That's almost worse. 2 months pass. At work, rumors spread about my failed marriage. A colleague who attended the wedding asks, "So, did you ever take that honeymoon?" I mumble an excuse and escape. Cassie tells me her family's upset. My mom says I have poor judgment, she admits tearfully. She's not wrong. During one therapy session, Daniel drops a bomb. Amanda asked me out. My heart stops. What did you say? I said I'm still married. He looks at me. But I'm not sure for how much longer. Lisa intervenes. Daniel, what do you need from Maya to rebuild trust? He thinks for a long time. I need to see she's really changed. Not just apologizing because she wants me back, but genuinely becoming someone who thinks about consequences, who values stability over excitement. I am changing, I insist. Maybe, he admits. But 2 months isn't enough. You destroyed years of trust in 2 minutes. Rebuilding takes longer than breaking. That night, I write him a letter. Not begging him to come back, but telling him everything I've learned about myself. I explain my insecurities, my need for validation, my fear of being ordinary. I end with, whether you come back or not, I'm grateful you showed me who I need to be. You deserve better than who I was. I'm working on becoming better than that. I mail it, then wait. 3 months after the wedding, Daniel finally comes home to talk. We sit in our living room where he left that awful night. I read your letter, he begins. Multiple times. And? It helped me understand you better. But Maya, understanding why doesn't erase that you did it. He runs his hands through his hair. I've been angry for months. At you, at Cassie, at myself for not seeing your impulsiveness as a red flag. I'm not impulsive anymore. 3 months ago, you weren't. He corrects. I don't know who you'll be 3 months from now. That's what scares me. I force myself to stay calm, to listen. You're right to be scared. I broke your trust. But I can only show you day by day that I'm different. But we're not together day by day, he points out. We're essentially separated. The word stings. So what do you want, Daniel? Divorce? Annulment? To try again? I need to know. He's silent. I don't know. I still love you, Maya. That's the hardest part. If I didn't love you, walking away would be easy. But I do. And that makes this so much more painful. Then fight for us, I plead. I'm fighting. I'm in therapy twice a week. I'm journaling. I'm reading every book on emotional maturity. I'm becoming the person you deserve. Meet me halfway, please. I don't know if I can, he whispers. Tears fill his eyes. Every time I think about moving forward, I remember that photo. I remember the joke you thought our wedding night was. I remember feeling like my heart was being ripped out while you were laughing with your friends. His pain becomes my pain. Some wounds take longer to heal than others. The next 2 weeks are brutal. Lisa challenges me in a session. What if Daniel doesn't come back? Can you still be okay with the person you're becoming? I don't know. I'm doing all this for him. Are you? She asks gently. Or are you doing it for yourself? Because if you're only changing to get him back, what happens if he leaves anyway? Her words force me to dig deeper. I realize that while I desperately want Daniel back, The work I'm doing is revealing someone I actually like, someone calmer, more thoughtful, more genuine. I'm doing it for me, I finally admit. But I want him to see it too. Kevin warns me that Amanda's been persistent with Daniel. If you're going to fight for your marriage, now's the time. But I don't know how to fight without seeming desperate. Then Margaret calls unexpectedly. Daniel told me about your letter, she says, less hostile than before. I still don't approve of what you did, but I respect that you're taking responsibility. It's not forgiveness, but it's something. Sarah helps me prepare. You need to see Daniel face to face and tell him everything, then accept whatever he decides. I arrange to meet him at the same coffee shop. This time I bring my therapy journal, my notes, everything I've learned. When he arrives, I take a deep breath. Daniel, I asked you here not to beg or pressure you, I begin. I want to show you who I've become and what I've learned. Then I'll accept whatever you decide. He nods slowly. I'm listening. I walk him through my journey, the realization that I'd been seeking external validation, the patterns I've broken, the triggers I've identified. I show him my journal entries, my therapist's assignments, the concrete steps I've taken. I'm not the same person who sent that photo, I tell him. I'm someone who thinks before acting, someone who values trust over excitement. Daniel listens without interrupting. When I finish, he's quiet for a long time. I can see you've done real work, he finally says. And I appreciate your honesty. But Maya, even if you've completely changed, I'm still hurt. The trust is still broken. Healing doesn't happen just because the person who caused the pain has improved. My heart sinks. So it's over? I'm saying. I don't know. He looks exhausted. I've been thinking about this every day for 4 months. Part of me wants to try again. Part of me wonders if I'm just holding on to who we used to be instead of accepting the marriage is already over. Then what do we do? He sighs deeply. I think we need to decide together. Either we commit to really trying, with therapy and rebuilding, or we end it now and save ourselves years of half-hearted effort. I want to try, I say immediately. I want to rebuild. I want to earn your trust back, however long it takes. But I'm not sure I can give you that chance, he admits. I'm not sure I can look at you without remembering that photo, that betrayal. I'm not sure I can fully trust you again, and you deserve someone who can. We sit in silence. Then Daniel speaks again, barely above a whisper. But I want to try too. I love you, Maya. Despite everything, I still love you. And I think I owe it to myself, to us, to at least try before giving up completely. Hope surges through me. What does trying look like? It looks like slow, he says. Weekly therapy sessions, honest conversations, rebuilding from the ground up. It looks like you proving through actions that you've changed. And it looks like me being willing to forgive, even though it's the hardest thing I've ever done. I can do that, I promise. I will. Then let's try, he says softly. One day at a time. 6 months after our disastrous wedding night, Daniel moves back home. It's not a fairy tale. There are still hard days when I see hurt flash across his face. But there are also good days. Days when he laughs at my jokes. Days when he reaches for my hand without thinking. Days when I see glimpses of the trust we're rebuilding. Therapy continues. Lisa works with us on communication and forgiveness. Healing isn't linear. Some weeks we make progress, others we slide backward. But we're committed. Margaret has warmed up slightly. You're working hard, she admits. That's all anyone can do. Cassie and I remain friends, but more honest now, less reckless. Ryan checks in occasionally, relieved we're working things out. Sarah tells me she's proud. Dad says I've grown up. Amanda? She's dating someone else now, and I'm genuinely happy for her. I still journal every night. I still see Lisa individually. And most importantly, I think before I act. Every decision I ask myself, how will this affect Daniel? How will this affect us? The wedding prank cost me nearly everything. It taught me that trust is fragile, actions have consequences, and some jokes are never funny. But it also taught me who I want to be. Not the impulsive, attention-seeking girl who sent that photo, but a woman who values depth over excitement, trust over thrills, and love over laughs. Daniel and I are taking it one day at a time, and for now, that's enough. The end.